Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about Jurassic World Dominion, specifically what we can all expect from the movie now that the world has been affected by this unprecedented event. So I'm not going to go into the specifics surrounding what's going on with the whole pandemic because I'm sure most of you are pretty tired of hearing about it everywhere you turn, but what I do want to discuss today is just how all of this stuff is currently affecting the newest Jurassic Park movie and what that could mean for us later on down the line. There's also some pretty interesting information about the movie itself that seems to be circulating around the internet right now that I thought would be cool to talk about, mainly due to the fact that it seems to allude to just how big and wide the scope of Dominion has been drawn up behind the scenes. What do I mean by this? Well, apparently, it would seem that Jurassic World Dominion was at one point in time supposed to be two separate movies. This would basically mean that Jurassic World 3, the sixth installment of the Jurassic Park franchise, was actually envisioned as something of a Part 1 and a Part 2. Think of it as something similar to what they've done with Avengers Infinity War and Endgame recently. Now, the reason that I think this would shock a lot of people is due to the fact that for a very long time, the idea that Universal Pictures only had the rights to make 6 Jurassic movies was being talked about in the fan community. However, obviously when Jurassic World came out and made more money than the studio could ever possibly imagine, I'm sure any sort of pre-existing rights issues were renegotiated in order to further the brand. But what does that tell us about Jurassic World Dominion now? Well, I guess sometime during the course of pre-production, the idea was to just sort of merge the two of these plot lines together. I could be entirely wrong on that, but I think it's likely that this at least happened to some degree if these rumors turn out being true. Now, this isn't really something that's unheard of because it's happened a couple of times in the series history before in the past. Back when the decision was made to add on the Santiago sequence towards the end of The Lost World, this kind of made that movie's plot bleed into what was originally Steven Spielberg's initial plan for JP3, which would have been dinosaurs in the mainland. And even as recently as Fallen Kingdom, Frank Marshall and the producers of that film decided that it would be a good idea to save some of Trevorrow's initial ideas for the end of the last movie for the next film in the franchise, Jurassic World 3. Essentially, what this all means is that Dominion is probably going to have one hell of a massive plot, which I personally think could hint at something of a longer runtime in the end. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves and speculate on what that might be, I think it's important to talk about how long it's been since they stopped filming on the project. When Jurassic World Dominion was shut down, they had only been filming for less than a month, and had months more time scheduled for production before they were even scheduled to begin post-production or marketing or anything like that. And by the way, this isn't a problem that the current worldwide situation has just thrown onto Jurassic Park alone either. It's something that's happened to virtually every project in the movie business at this given point in time. And most of those other films have had their release dates thrown up in the air because of it. That's why I personally believe that this new film, Jurassic World Dominion, will more than likely get its release date pushed back to a later date in 2021, or probably even 2022 before everything is said and done. It was originally, and still is, scheduled to come out on June 11th of next year. But honestly guys, I just don't know if that's really a possibility at this point in time anymore. This isn't a fact, or something that needs to be said as 100% true right now, but if you're asking me, I think Dominion will get pushed back, and I honestly think that's the best thing for it if it means that they will have more time to perfect the film. Of course, anything could change in the future, and new stuff could be presented to us. But with all of what's going on right now, I'm just of the opinion that the film is probably going to be pushed back in order to make the best possible movie they can under the circumstances that we've all found ourselves in. All of the film industry is having to deal with this right now, and I think Jurassic World is no exception to that sort of delay. But in the end, on the positive side, I think it will be a good thing for everyone involved. Because when we finally do get to see Owen, Alan, Claire, Ellie, and Ian back on the big screen, it will be in a movie that's had time to breathe and kind of gather itself before presenting us with a story. If it gets pushed back anyways. Now before I go, I'd like to thank all of my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. Guys, it seriously means the world to me that you all continue to support what I do, and I never want you to ever forget that. Now, I'd like to thank you all for watching today's video, and hope that you all enjoyed the content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you on the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.